Okay, we're live. A little bit, wanted to start on time, a few minutes delayed here, getting the technicalities worked out. Going to call the meeting to order at 7:32. Please stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I think if you click that green button, Michael, take the screen up just as the pin in the middle. Oh.
Okay, are we good?
Click that green thumbtack in the middle. There.
That's better. All right. Whenever you're ready, Chuck, call the roll.
All right, Michael, call the roll, please.
Trustee Chickanetti.
Present.
Trustee Hillier.
Present?
Trustee Pennock.
Present.
Fiscal Officer Patriarca.
Present.
They're all here.
Thank you. I need a motion to approve the minutes from the April 21st, 2020 meeting.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Mannery, please provide us a summary of the work session.
Mr. Chairman, the trustees held an informal meeting with representatives from Safe Store to go over their plans for a building on Menor Avenue for safe storage. The trustees agreed, Trustee Chickanetti is going to write an article for the next newsletter. The trustees talked about setting up a meeting to discuss the Joint Economic Development District. The trustees discussed law enforcement with ATVs and four-wheelers in the township. Trustees briefly discussed movie night in July. There's no decision made. Fire chief talked about, I don't have any notes for the fire chief. He talked about the command vehicle has been moved back from the county to our possession. That
Lost revenue.
he talked about his budget and lost revenue in a short time. It's going to take a little longer to learn more about what revenue shortfalls he'll have. He also talked about repairs at Station 3 are ongoing. Anything else you want to throw out there?
No, that was
it. The service director talked about the Lawn and Garden Awards this summer, which we'll hold, we hold every year in June, July, and August. And talked about tweaking the curbside brush pickup because the students at Riverside High School will not be able to participate with us this year due to the coronavirus outbreak. Zoning inspector gave an update on how the zoning software, the training on the new zoning software is going. Let the trustees be aware that there's potential child care that's interested in opening up on Blackbrook Road and a potential auto parts supplier that might open on Temple. And that's what we did.
Thank you, Mr. Mannery. Is there any old business from the floor? Okay, is there any new business from the floor?
You got anything?
But you have a lot to do yet, or?
Well, public is first, and then we go on. Public is first, and then we move on to our stuff. So if you have something you need to discuss, now is the time.
I would just,
Ask him to stand his name and address, please.
Robert McDougall, 133 Nantucket Circle. Painesville.
Thank you.
I spoke with Mr. Falvey about the parade, the St. Patrick's Parade, which was unfortunately canceled because of the virus type thing. We're just requesting, I kind of made myself unpopular here, but I was told too many cooks spoil the stew. But the two cooks, Mr. Falvey and Mr. Neil Conway, they supply a lot of bacon to the stew. So they would like a little input into what goes on. Okay. For instance, a flyer. I had suggested a flyer, and actually we had worked one with Karen here, a little one, but it got rejected because you didn't like the wording. Mr. Falvey went and had 250 made at a private place. Fortunately, the gentleman donated that, but if he wanted more, there would have been $91 for each 100 more. So, but fortunately, we were able to size it and regenerate it into little squares, okay? But again, I would like, or I'm speaking for Mr. Falvey because I talked to him on Saturday. And be able to kind of coordinate his effort, Mr. Conway's efforts, and your efforts. Okay, you see what I'm saying? Because they were gonna put up $1,000 to pay for the 2 pipe and drum. They were gonna bring a float, 2 marching units, and I had arranged some very nice additions to the parade. A color guard from the American Legion, the U.S. Coast Guard was gonna be in it. Auburn Career Center, possibly Lake Erie College. A variety of people were gonna participate. Okay, I'm just saying, would like to be able to have a little bit more input if possible.
Well, I think that, you know, we can cross that bridge when we get to it, but.
Right, I'm just kind of.
But when we, you know, when we take on events, and we were asked to take the event over, specifically from, you know, Jim Falvey and Tim Cannon, them asked us to take over the event, right? So while we appreciate all they're doing and we'll definitely seek their input, I think that next year, when it comes to flyers and those type of things, I think that we would actually like to, now we could get their input, but we're going to create the arts, create the files, and have those printed. Now, we definitely appreciate your distributing them, which we would more than, you know, welcome again. But I think next year to make sure that they say what we want them to say, we're going to take that on, and then we'll get them made and printed, and then give them to you to distribute. You know, an example is at first they didn't even say Painesville Township on it. It just said St. Patrick's Parade. It didn't even say Painesville Township on it.
Yes, it did.
Well, there was a version that we had that it was added later underneath.
Township, St. Patrick's Parade.
It didn't say St. Painesville Township. The Painesville Township part was added later, but initially it didn't. So we want to just, there's different things that we want to ensure get done and things that are included on that. You know, it would have been helpful that we're handing those out, contact information for the parade, our website, you know, those type of things that we include on any other type of event that we do. We'll want to make sure that's on the piece. So while we definitely would appreciate you handing them out, and we'll get input from, you know, Jim next year if he's going to contribute, but we will create the art for the file, have them printed, get them on a cardstock, postcards type, you know, handout that you can hand out that's two-sided versus just a copy paper. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much what we'll do next year, which will save a lot of time and effort of, you know, going and buying paper, printing them. They'll be on a cardstock, full color, and it'll be far less than $91 for 100 of them. We'll probably get 1,000 of them for $91 versus $91 for 100 of them. You know, so
here is the expensive orange paper that you paid for. Here's paper that I paid for, and here's green paper Mr. Falvey paid for.
We probably next year when we print up, like I said, we'll have it professionally done. Will probably be a full color, two-sided, high gloss postcard that will cost us 10 cents a piece versus, you know, 50 to 70 to 80, 90 cents a piece, which those were costing. So that's, you know,
you have.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure, you know, we'll see bridge comes where we can use green paper for something, but I think that we want to ensure that what we're getting out has a complete message on it. So we'll evaluate that next year, but especially if the printing is that expensive. Like I said, we can get postcards, a high gloss, two-sided, full color art done, and those are, I think, maybe about 10 cents each. And then you can buy them, we can get them in bulk, and they can be distributed everywhere, put in stores, put wherever you want to put them. But at least it's a consistent message with the information that we want on there, done in a professional manner that I think meets the expectations we want since we're the ones essentially hosting the event. You know, now they're contributing, which we appreciate, but they asked us to take over the event a couple of years ago, so we're going to do that and continue to do that. But I think that because of that, we're gonna be more involved as far as what gets out there, so that it's consistent.
I had suggested that and you rejected what I made it with Karen here.
Right. That's why I said next year we'll handle it ahead of time, get the
Mr.
information.
Falvey, I told Mr. Falvey I'd like to have a flyer. We invited about 2,500 young families and children.
Mhm.
I mean, that would have been a nice addition to your parade. I mean,
Yeah, sure. I mean, we did on social media, and I think our post reached over 15,000 people on our social media. So we got a ton of exposure there as well. It's a multi-faceted approach to reaching different people in different ways. But, we'll definitely look at it next year to.
I mean, just going to the grocery store, I mean, just seeing a kid or his parents asking him, have you seen the parade? 9 people out of 10 have never heard of the parade.
Well, we had, like I said, 2 years ago, or last year, we had a pretty good crowd. So at least I think we filled up the street pretty good last year. So if that's an indication, I think we did pretty good. Can we grow on it? Sure. But I think we had a pretty good, very well attended last year. So I think that it would definitely, it stinks that our momentum got taken away from us this year, but it is what it is. But I think we put it in our newsletter. That newsletter reaches 10,000 households, correct, Mike? Our newsletter?
11,000.
11,000 households. It's in our newsletter, 11,000 households. That's direct in people's face. So, that's an avenue we use to get it out as well. So
You would coordinate with Mr. Falvey and Conway, when you do your artwork for the flyer and things like that?
yeah, I mean, we'll talk to them for sure and see what what they're contributing, what they're bringing to make sure we include that in the flyer by all means. No doubt about that. We appreciate their efforts, but they didn't want to do the event, and I understand that. That's why they gave it over to us. They had it was growing. They didn't want to take it on anymore, so they asked us to take it on. So that's what we're going to do and continue to move it forward and go with it from there. So, but again, bridge will cross when we get there next year to see how we handle it. But as far as the printing goes, we will create the flyer that'll be handed out next year, and we'll definitely, anybody that's willing to contribute, especially money and resources like that, we'll definitely talk to them before we print it to see what they want on it.
One other point, 2 points. One, if you have to social distancing, you could extend your parade down to the Dairy Queen or as far as Harry Buffalo, and Mr. Bruce Wright there at Harry Buffalo would be very happy if you included him. And the people on the east side of the river, I don't think know that there is a parade. Maybe at your summer event, your family day at the History Center, you could put up some signage or pass out a few handouts, or so the people on that side of the river know that this side of the river exists.
Like I said, our newsletter goes over there. We send out 11,000, so they more than to every household. So every household on that side gets a newsletter that states that the parade is going on. That's included in every one. So, I think we had a whole.
Yeah, and I'll even add to that. I know I shared information about the parade on my Facebook page, and I know a lot of people on this side of the river in my neighborhood follow me on that, so they're aware of it. And I'm sure Chuck did the same up in Lake Erie Shores, where that's a close-knit community up there. I'm sure he shared the information and got the word out there.
Yeah, so we'll make sure that it gets out as much as possible again when we do it next year.
I'll depart there. Mr. Falvey.
Official here for the Painesville Township.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
No.
Hey, can he pass it through the screen?
Right. See, you don't come, you miss out on prizes.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Thank you for attending.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, gentlemen, I can't see in the room. Is the Lake County Sheriff there?
No,
The sheriff does not come to the evening meeting. He only comes to the morning meetings.
Okay,
It's always been that way since I started here.
okay, good enough. Let's move on to department reports. We'll start with the awesome Mr. Thompson in the Service Department.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, the road projects, the OPWC project has not started yet. I don't know what day they're going to start with the concrete removal. The asphalt projects have started. Nelmar, Fruitland, Kenilworth, Ardoy, and Shady have had the surface milled and the base repairs done. And down at the service garage, that project is complete. They did the milling and they paved it today. So it's probably going to be a couple weeks before they get the final coat of asphalt on the other roads. They've got some manhole adjustments to do, Kenilworth, Ardoy, and Shady. And then they've got to coordinate with the fabric crew to get the other roads done. And the majority of the Hometown Heroes banners have been hung. There's probably 15 to 20 more that weren't available the day we went out to do them. The next time that we have it in our schedule to go out and do them, they'll probably all be hung at that time. And there are, I think there's 2 that are going to be hung on the east side on North Ridge Road when we go back out. So
Very nice.
that's all I have.
how many are on that side total now?
I think we have 2.
2.
When we started this season, we had 17 poles available on Menor Avenue. I'm not sure how many people did not renew. Most people do renew. So we filled up the 17 new spots and expanded. So we've added at least 20 this year, new ones. Just amazes me, this program grows every year.
It's very nice. It's very nice. And people do it for their families too, so that's nice. Okay. Bill, do you have anything else?
No, that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we'll move on to Fire Department. Chief Huffman.
The only thing I have is, I know we talked about the office here opening and the fire departments, we're still, because we're in contact with possible patients that have COVID, we're still isolating between stations. So if we do get a contamination in one place, we don't get it anywhere else. Our stations will probably remain on lockdown at least for the month of May, which means outside visitors, if we have business, we'll do it at the door or in the Bay Area, but not in the stations and not bring people in. So we're going to just stay isolated at the fire stations.
Very good.
That's
Anything else?
No, that's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Move on to zoning. Rich or Harley?
Mr. Chairman, Zoning Inspector Rich Constantine has nothing to add.
And I have nothing to add, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you both. Our esteemed legal advisor, Mr. Iasu.
I have nothing to report, Mr. Chairman.
Very good. And move on to Mr. Mannery, the administrator.
Just one thing, Mr. Chairman, Township Hall reopened on Monday, May 4th to the public. We are observing strict protocols for cleanliness, safetiness, social spacing, and that. We've marked off the area in front of the window so people theoretically can't stand too close to the counter. We do wipe off the doorknobs when people leave the building. We've not opened the building to meetings by the nonprofit organizations, which we previously were allowing them to meet here. We haven't done that yet. So it's been convenient because people are showing up one at a time, so that works. They come in, get their permit, or ask their question and leave. So it's been an easy transition, but we're still very limited in how the building can be used. That's it.
All right, thank you very much. Fiscal Officer, Mr. Patriarca.
You're muted, dude.
Just the way he likes
I
it.
had nothing to add anyway, so my
Okay.
silence is golden. Hold on, my phone's ringing real quick. Smart.
Thank you very much.
I could hear you before, but I can hear you.
And we hope we made you smile. Okay, we're going to move on to the trustees. Gabe or Josh, do you have anything?
Nope.
No.
Josh? No? Okay.
No.
So this is the first meeting I've been involved here in the township, or actually any meeting that we have nothing on the agenda to vote on. So with that, I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All
Aye.
right, we're adjourned at 7:53 PM.
Okay, bye.
Mike, I'll stop by tomorrow and sign.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, Jim Bob.